In the heart of the eternal grove, a village of humans lived high within the branches of the world tree. Here, the sunlight didn't just shine, it danced like liquid gold across the mossy pathways. Among the villagers was Pip, a 7-year-old boy with messy brown hair and a bright red scarf. Pip was small for his age, but his eyes held the curiosity of 1,000 explorers. But a quiet worry had gripped the grove, for the great luminescence was beginning to fade. Elder Thorn, an old man with a beard like winter snow, gathered everyone in the square. "The eternal spark at the summit is dying," Thorn said, his voice heavy with ancient history. "Without that light, the great tree would fall into a sleep from which no one would ever wake." Pip looked at his small hands, then at the red scarf his grandmother had knitted for him. While the others stayed in fear, Pip decided he would be the one to climb to the top. He packed a small leather bag with dried apples and tied his boots extra tight. The climb began at the roots of memory, where the air smells of ancient earth and rain. The first 100 feet were easy, the bark forming natural stairs for his small feet. But soon, the mist rolled in, thick and white as a wool blanket, hiding the world below. Out of the fog appeared Master Silas, an elderly weaver with hair like spun silver. Silas was spinning threads of pure starlight, his monocle reflecting the glow of his work. "Where does a boy so small go when the clouds are so heavy?" Silas asked kindly. "I'm going to find the spark," Pip replied, his red scarf fluttering in the cold wind. Silas smiled and handed him a spool of gossamer silk that never seemed to end. "This will catch you when the wind tries to throw you," the old weaver whispered. Pip continued, using the silk to swing across the great chasm of the middle canopy. He reached a place where the leaves were the size of houses and purple butterflies nested. Here he met Lady Elara, a young knight in silver armor with a glowing yellow plume. She was guarding the path against the shadow of doubt, her sword made of pure amber. "The path ahead is dark, little one," Elara warned, her eyes full of concern for the boy. Pip showed her his red scarf and told her of the village elders waiting for the light. Impressed by his heart, Elara gave him her shield, light as a feather but strong as stone. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the tree became a world of shadows and whispers. Pip climbed into the night, the silver silk and the amber shield his only companions. Suddenly, the air turned ice cold, and a dark mist began to coil around his ankles. It was the shadow of doubt, a formless spirit that fed on the fears of the brave. "You will fail," the shadow hissed, its voice like the cracking of old, dry wood. Pip remembered his home, the smell of the morning bread, and the sound of laughter. He held Elara's shield high, and the amber light cut through the darkness like a blade. "I am not afraid of the dark," Pip shouted, "for I carry the morning in my heart." The shadow vanished, leaving behind only the scent of pine and the silence of the stars. Pip was exhausted, his legs shaking, his breath coming in short, frozen puffs of air. He fell into a deep sleep, protected by the silver silk he had wrapped around himself. In his dreams, the great tree spoke to him, a voice of rustling leaves and deep roots. When he woke, he was at the silver branch, the very crown of the entire world. The sky here was a different color entirely, a mix of rose, gold, and deep violet. In the center of the branch sat the prism of the eternal spark, cold and dark. Pip approached the stone, wondering how a boy so small could ever light a fire so big. He didn't have a match, and he didn't have a flame. He only had his memories. He thought of Elder Thorn's wisdom and Master Silas's kindness and Elara's courage. He offered the prism all the love he felt for his village and his friends. Suddenly, the prism ignited, a roar of light spreading out like 1,000 suns. The light wasn't just bright, it was warm, and it carried the scent of spring flowers. A rainbow bridge formed, connecting the summit to the village far, far below. Pip stepped onto the bridge and began to slide, faster than any bird could fly. He zoomed past Lady Elara, who raised her amber sword in a silent salute. He flew past Master Silas, who waved a silk handkerchief with a proud grin. The light from the spark followed him, waking up every leaf and every flower. Pip landed softly in the village square, right into the arms of the cheering crowd. The great luminescence had returned, stronger and more beautiful than ever before. Grandmother Hoot hugged Pip, her owl feather cloak warm against his face. "You did it, Pip," she whispered. "You brought the light back home." Pip looked up at the summit and realized that being small didn't mean being weak. For the greatest light in the world is the one we carry for each other. And so, the eternal grove lived on, a sanctuary of light in a world of wonder.